with my right hand. I made it out of tight jams. Guns all on my nightstand. My life should be on Vice Land. My fingertips to hold the marijuana aroma. High school, I went to school high, still got my diploma. He got riddled and left alone for some Skittles in Arizona. The same time a man dies by his own for a pair of Jordan. It's crazy how we living. We all misguided children. Niggas out here getting got, trying to figure out how to get it. We the ones that's not afraid to let the hammers off. The same ones that feed the homeless with the cameras off. The life I'm living kinda hard to get a handle on, but I'm blessed and God knows I can't be mad at all.
Pavllo works at this great company called Foreo, and he's a storyteller there. He has such a really incredible story, someone that's lived all over the globe, but has such an incredible outlook on life. This is a guy that you could talk to for hours. I'm here with Pavllo. I'm so excited to have you come through, man. Thank you so much for coming on the show. I'm so excited.
Well, thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here.
No, yeah, we wanted you. You're literally guest number one. And we're here downtown Los Angeles, and I thought it would be. I was talking to Beth the other day, and she was like, "You got to have Pavllo on the show." And I remember we were in, where were we? Melrose, or
yeah, Melrose Place.
Yeah, Melrose.
At Alfred's Coffee.
Yeah, I thought and I was like, "Oh, we got to get this guy back." So you just told me you were born in Belgium, came to the States. Albania, Belgium.
But Europe, so close.
Yeah, somewhere
it's the same region, you know.
Same thing?
It's small enough. You might as well call it one.
First, Albania. Not a lot. I don't know anybody from Albania. And then you came here when you were 6
years old.
Walk me through. And then how'd you get to LA?
We moved to. My whole family lived in Tampa Bay, so we moved to Florida at 6, and I grew up there most of my life, and that's where I met Beth.
Hey.
I was in 6th grade, and then lived there most of my life. Then transitioned to New York, where I went to NYU from undergrad.
Yeah.
And then back to Florida, worked in finance because that was my background for about 4 years at Citi.
So college was finance?
Finance and international business, I co-majored.
Good grief.
Yeah.
What's the biggest transition that you've kind of found from being in Albania to be in America? And have you been back?
I have been back. Most of my family from my mom's side is all in Florida and all live within like a 1 mile radius. And then from my dad's side, I have an aunt and uncle that live in Europe.
Wow.
So I have been back to visit family. I've been 3 times back. But the biggest challenge, I guess, at that young age, the only thing was the language.
Yeah.
I didn't speak at all English.
That's crazy. Do you speak, and you're dual language?
Correct. I speak it fluently because my
crazy.
family speaks Albanian, so that's all I speak with them. So I still keep
So many people think, like, when you hear someone that, like, speaks Spanish, like, you instantly think, like, oh, man, like, they're not as smart or something. But, like, it's really that they know more languages than you do.
Yeah, it's difficult to maintain it if you don't practice it.
Sure.
So for me, I find practicing and calling my family, like I always try to speak to them in Albanian.
Yeah.
Even though sometimes certain words come out in English, I try to like keep it as Albanian as possible. And that's why I maintained it, because I never went to school there, so I never had proper training. So reading and writing is still probably elementary level for me. I haven't really went to school.
Well, probably for me too. So,
but I'm okay with it. Like as long as I could speak it and it's another language, then yeah, it's a language all on its own. So it's a very different language.
Right. Like who do you know that's from Albania? You know, like do you run into other Albanian people often?
I mean, we have a lot of famous people too.
Yeah. Who we got?
We have Bibi Rexha.
Okay.
We have Dua Lipa.
Oh, okay.
So you have some Albanian. You have what's her name? Rita Ora.
Oh, cool.
So,
all right.
And then Mother Teresa, which is the most famous one.
Most famous one of them all.
Yeah, there's several.
Very cool, man. And then so you wound up finance. Tell me how you got to LA, and because now you're with Foreo.
Correct. I work for a beauty tech company called Foreo.
Okay.
So I studied finance, international business, went back to Florida, worked for Citi for about 4 years, and then quit because I wanted to go back to New York. So, and in that time, I was offered a modeling contract to go to Miami, and went there for about 3 months as my first season. I hated it. I went from going from a job where you're working 7 a.m. to like 7 p.m.
Right.
To then going to a market where it was like, my mentality was just about like, go. And like, okay, this is what I need to do. I need to go see these clients. I need to do this. This is my game plan. Having that mentality. And I'd go to my agent. I'm like, okay, so what do I do today? He's like, okay, so go work out and tan. And I was like, okay. Day 1 was cool. Day 2, what did I do today? Go work out and tan. And I was like, wait, by day 7, I was like, this is not
I
can't tan anymore. I'm changing an ethnicity. Like I can't.
What do you think that is about Miami and New York? The different hustle? Because I found the same thing. Like everyone in Miami and South Florida, there's a different level of hustle than when you go and you work in New York City.
New York City is different from anything else because people say the same thing about LA. They're like, oh, it's so chill, it's so laid back. And I don't think it's chill or laid back at all. I just think it's more internally. People have so many things going on and they're so eager to do a lot of things, but they keep it internal.
Right.
Whereas in New York, they're always on the go and it's very externally driven.
Right.
And the energy in New York is completely different. So I think that's one of the things that you can never replace or replicate is that energy that you get once you land there.
What's wrong with South Florida? Why is it?
I don't like Miami, so I'm probably the only one. I don't like it for vacation. I like 1 day, 2 days, I'm good. Like I don't.
We came down
by Miami, so I don't get everyone confused. I mean South Beach because nothing else I've experienced.
Right.
I don't. Everyone's like Miami's so big. I've only gone into South Beach and then left South Beach.
But we started the studio in DC, and then we came down to South Florida, and I instantly thought, let's put this sucker on South Beach and let's get it going. And then I was just down there for a few days and I was like, no, this isn't it. And then we went to Fort Lauderdale and I was like, this is a little bit better. I can understand life here.
Everyone's vacationing there, I think.
Right.
Or their mindset, they've lived a permanent vacation.
Right. It's interesting.
So it's
and then a lot of people too, even that I know and are on the show, have gone from Miami to LA. Where was that like a weather thing? What drew you to LA finally? Was it modeling? Was it
modeling actually? So I started in Miami, as I was saying before, and 3 months, it was super...
Right.
Actually, of course, I get the shingles my first... It's like an adult disease, too. Like, you don't even get that unless you're like 60 years old.
Right.
But of course, I get this adult version of chickenpox that you can never get on my first modeling season. And my booker's like, you're disgusting.
And that's out. You're out.
Of course.
You're out.
And it was... thank God it didn't come on my face or anything like that, but it was just like on my back a little bit. And then I went home, and then my agent, who was in Tampa at the time, Kira, she placed me in Milan. So I went to Milan for 2 seasons, and I was there with Major. So that was really, really cool. And that was completely different. That was when I started working, and it was a whole new eye view, so to speak, or a peak of what modeling would be for me. And then I came back.
What's the hardest thing about being a model? Like, or, at that place
being a guy, because it's like clearly not a guy's.
What do you mean? What do you mean?
Industry. There's less jobs for men. There are less pay. Like the rate is super, super low for guys, even though there's less jobs. It's just not a market.
So this is like the reverse. This is
like
the
only
reverse.
One for sure.
It's like the reverse of filmmaking.
Exactly.
So
for sure.
Men get paid less, or
like 70% less. It's like on a different.
We need to start a fucking movement.
What's the reason for that?
What is the reason? What?
I don't know. I honestly don't know what it would. I mean, clearly there's so many more jobs for women, and of course I think it takes. They work harder for it. Like they have to be 6 hours in hair and makeup, and they do work for it. So I don't say. It's just interesting that you can do the same exact campaign. It'll be completely different.
Yeah, I saw myself in the shower the other day, and I was like, "This is not good." So maybe
dream.
maybe that's what no one wants to see. No one wants to see a male body. No one wants to see a male. Maybe don't want to see it.
They do. They just don't want to. They're not going to pay for it.
Yeah, it's interesting. That's interesting. I haven't actually
thought about that.
But I haven't actually seen any industry where a man gets paid less.
Yeah.
Modeling.
Maybe it's what we fucking deserve.
Yeah, right?
Totally, I don't know.
It's like a boot camp. Send them through modeling first.
Absolutely, they appreciate what women go through. But you see that in film and modeling, they're in hair and makeup for hours.
And for sure.
And they have to go through a lot. And the casting call process is brutal. Like what people go through, how they talk about you right in front of your face, and what you go through. And
I've heard crazy things. Like I remember we were in a casting, they'll line you up, and in other countries too, they don't even speak your language, so sometimes it's not as bad, but sometimes they're like, oh. I remember this was a guy casting, they lined everybody up, and then one came out, was like, yeah, you have childbearing hips.
What?
Not to me, thankfully, but someone else, and I was just like, wow.
That's horrible.
It is. But I've heard it all too, like, your nose is not right, your eyes are too close, your hair is not full enough, you're getting too old, you're too young, you hear everything.
What do you think that does? Like, how did you overcome that? What did that do to your psyche? Like, if someone's just talking about
it bothered me a lot from the beginning, I'm not gonna lie. And I lost a lot of weight. So when I was going to NYU, I actually lost 80 pounds. So my body was not something that I was like, oh, let me go take a, even to this day, I have my own insecurities about taking a picture with a shirt off and all that stuff. But being put in that spotlight where it's like, you see people who have like perfection bodies and they can still find a problem with it.
Yeah.
For me was actually one booker here who said something about my eyes, and I just looked and I was like, I let her talk. And
Yeah.
I finished. I was like, bitch, you're stupid. I was like, because you can tell me anything else, but my eyes was like, there's the one thing that I get compliments all the time on. So I think it was that was like, okay, somebody's gonna find something, even though,
and
it kind of triggered that, and I kind of replay that in my head.
Yeah.
I'm like, if they can find that problem, then they're gonna find.
But that's like some shit you can't change. Like, you're born with these eyes. It's not like you can do eye workouts. Like,
but she's like, I just don't like it. They're too close. Like, I was just like, okay.
That's off. But
it's also, don't forget, like a lot of those situations too, you get people who are super supportive. And it's in that industry, my biggest thing is it's a partnership.
Yeah.
So whenever you're finding a team you're working with, you just want to be, I don't care to be with a manager or an agent or a company that just has you on the roster or just keeps you there. It has to be a partnership that you want to be able to support each other, right? Speak the same language, be in the same, like, I make money if you make money.
Right.
We create stuff together. And you have to find the right people, and you don't have to say, to bring somebody down in order not to work with them, or, elevate or actually bring them high and be like, oh, you're so amazing, you're just not right for us. And just be honest, be respectful, and then move on. I find that process.
Yeah, I find like, and even in our industry, shooting talent, I mean, I find so much low self-esteem. Like when you see these drop dead beautiful men and women.
I mean, the social media nowadays has made that.
It's rough.
It's hard.
What do you feel like? What role do you think social media has to play in the agent in the role of, like, actors and models and this day and age, as far as self-esteem goes?
It plays both. I feel like it messes with people a lot, and it messes with me. Like, it's fake. You know that it's just a 10 seconds or not. It's like a second of your day. And sometimes I catch myself, like, I would have the worst day ever, but I'll make a beautiful picture that I would force myself to take just to be happy for that 1 second, and then post it. And then it's like, everyone thinks you live this amazing life. And it's great because it can be motivational to be aspiring. But also, my biggest thing is, I read something that was, when somebody goes to your page, how do they feel when they leave your page? Whatever page that is, whether it's a business page or it's a website, do they feel better or do they feel worse about themselves? If they feel worse about themselves, then you're not doing your job for a community.
That's a good point.
It's like, do they feel better? Like, you can be living this glamorous lifestyle, and you can, but it's a way of how you sell it. How do you pitch it? How do you share this message? How do you share that
story? Because everyone can see through that.
Correct.
And then I think too, like, nowadays, like, people that are living on social media, it's tough too, because I like, you post something on social media and you get a lot of likes, you feel better.
Yeah,
you feel
it's that dopamine. It's like that instant dopamine.
It's a horrible feeling where you're just like, this thing that isn't real makes me feel better.
And it's so short-lived. Like, the more you do it, the shorter that level of dopamine is, the more you have to do it. Like, you would do it before, like a couple of years ago, I would post a great picture and people would like it. That happiness could last longer. Now, it's like a second. It's like, okay, I saw a better picture from somebody else. So I'm like, great, my high is now low.
That's interesting.
So the more you're on it, the more exposure you have, the more you need to do it to keep up with it.
And then you wanted to kind of branch out from that. You were like, especially when you're talking to us, you were kind of like, yo, I'm going to get into some business, start doing stuff with Foreo.
So you got to mix it up. I mean,
why not just stay in modeling, acting for the rest of your life? Or why kind of you have kind of a diverse kind of portfolio of what you're trying to get into?
I think people have multiple potentials in life. And I feel that nowadays we have so much to offer, and yet we have so much around us. So technology has changed. Everything has changed. So we have to adapt to it. And I feel like people can do more than one thing. And why not do it? Why not pursue it? If it's something you want to do. I was talking about this with a friend of mine recently, and I said, like, normally people could be very content with having one job and having it for a long time. Back in the day. And nowadays people just have 7 jobs and still are not content, or, want more and want more. And it's because we're exposed to it. Sometimes when you get exposure to certain things, it's like, there's that fine line between knowledge is power, but ignorance is bliss. And finding that balance to where it works for you. Where you're not overexhausted, but then you do something for.
And then too, it's like what you feel you're best at. Like, what do you feel like you're best at? Like, what's the best Pavllo? Like, when you're doing XYZ, you feel like you're at your best. What is that?
Sleep. I don't know, because I'm so hard. You can have one week I can feel like I'm so good at doing this.
Yeah.
But you know what I'm really good at? I'm really good at promoting other people, other brands.
That's interesting.
And it's because it comes from the heart. I
Right.
feel like that's the one thing. Obviously, we all have insecurities. And I always say this to myself, like, why is it so hard for me to promote my own work or promote my own pictures or promote my own any vision, whatever it is, as good as I can do a friend of
somebody
mine,
else's.
Somebody else's. And I feel it's because, not that I don't believe in myself, I do, but it's more of your insecurities too. So you know all the stuff that affects you the most.
Right.
Where with somebody else, and especially
you only see the positive.
Especially if it's people you care about.
Right,
you know?
absolutely, right.
You see the positive, and even if you see the negatives, you want to highlight the positives, and you want to be able to push them forward and see. Because for me, that's a big thing. I feel like I've always said this, that having a support system and having people believe in you is one of the biggest powers you can have.
I think it's interesting because we as like a humanity, like we are, like I've got 2 kids and you know, plenty of people with kids, and we both have been kids, obviously. When you're younger, you get fucking complimented on everything. Good job, you put that there. You good poop and good this and good job, good boy. That's my whole life with my son right now. Is you did a good job, be a good boy on absolutely everything, and that fades. And at your whole first few years on the planet is all these compliments, and then that kind of fades, and then it kind of gives people to say like, oh no, I don't know about this guy, I don't like this guy. Then it's like negativity. Right. And then it kind of just ends. So yeah, having a support system of people to come back and say, no, good job. You're doing an awesome job. Your photos look incredible. That is like, I know it's part of like how we were brought into this world, but not just unnecessarily compliments, people that really care about you. I saw this one quote that said, stop being caught up with trying to make people love you and find those people that love you.
Right.
Which is like so a different duality. It's kind of like social media and what's happening in this world right now is kind of like we want to make sure we expose our best self, but there's a bunch of people that we have in our corner already that are rooting for us.
Always.
And those are the people to focus on.
And it's very true, and I'm a solid believer, because I know for me, coming from my background, where I came from, not speaking the language, my family has always said to me, I can do whatever I want to do.
Right.
And maybe not said it, but their actions.
Right,
It's not even about saying it nowadays. It's like your actions. And I have friends who have just as loving family as I do, but they're more risk averse. So they'll be like, oh, maybe you shouldn't go away for college, or maybe you should stay closer to home. And my parents never did that. They were like, go, do this, pursue this, get this.
Go for it.
And I know what difference it makes in the way that I go for it then.
Right.
It's like, it's a complete psychological thing.
Right. Then if you were just being broken down and kind of like, I don't know.
And it's not on purpose. It's not that they don't love me or they do love me. It's just the way that people are built. And I feel like I show care like that. That's how with all my friends, with anybody in my life that I have, and that's, I think, one of my biggest qualities that I like to highlight, is that I like to be supportive in that case. And I want to be able to help people and show them that, that they can do whatever they want to do.
What's been the toughest thing for you? You came from Albania, obviously a very young age, New York, LA, modeling, doing some business stuff, and then keeping your own career, your modeling career going on the side as well as you're dabbling in other stuff too. What's been one of the most difficult things for you?
Actually, acting. Acting was and it wasn't the fact about acting, but it was the part about being vulnerable.
Right.
And I feel that was a huge, huge barrier. And it was one of the reasons why I fell in love with it, why I wanted to pursue acting and what it did for me. And it was the part about letting the emotions hit you. We faced many different things throughout our lifehood. And I had a lot of sacrifices that my family took. And then I had a lot of tragedies too. Like when I was very young, my brother passed away. He was murdered. And it was the same time that we met. And that's how my mom and Val's mom became really close friends at the time we were talking. Is my childhood didn't change. My parents, I didn't miss a birthday. I didn't miss Christmas. I didn't miss anything. But they grieve. To this day, they go to the cemetery every day.
Right, yeah.
But my life didn't change. And when I came here, there were certain barriers that I had built based on circumstances that I lived that I didn't even know. And having to be in acting, being in the scene, and taking a script and reading it, if you don't let those words or be open to your scene partner,
to let them
your response is not going to be authentic. So you are acting, so to speak. You're not really being in the moment of it.
Right.
And that's the basics of it, obviously. But just having to peel away those walls and like break down that system of always being guarded to the point where now it's like I can be emotional about everything.
Right.
And I'm like, why are you so stupid? Why are you crying? For what's the point?
You've opened yourself up.
But you open yourself up, and then it's very therapeutic, and you get to learn a lot about yourself too.
Right.
You know
where to tap into.
You know where to tap into, but you become compassionate. You understand other people's journey. It's not all about you. It's not all about your struggles. It's not all about what you're going through. You have to be able to be open and be receptive.
I feel like that's the exact opposite of where this country is right now. We're like the least open we've ever been.
Yeah.
And I think obviously Trump kind of brought that out in a lot of people, inadvertently. And I think, and I feel like we're at the place where we've been the most kind of separated or divided than we can ever have been. And what do you think really can change that? Obviously, everyone can get in there and vote, but what do you think psychologically can really get in there?
Media has a lot to do with it.
What do you mean?
I feel like what stories they cover and how they pitch certain angles, media drives a lot of. You see it in entertainment. It's been going on forever. And if you're not in it, I don't know. With politics, it probably works the same way because I'm not in the politics world, so I don't know. But I'm in the entertainment world, and when I wasn't in it, I would read certain things and I would believe everything, or I'll believe the same. But now being in it, I can see how it could completely be twisted.
Right.
The people involved could be in it with the media.
Right.
So it's just there's no true facts.
Right.
It's like all about a hype, all about how certain things are. And people take things too personal.
Right.
Also as well. It's like, oh, you voted for Trump, or you voted for this, or you voted for Hillary. And it's like whatever I voted for is not because I want to see you struggle.
Exactly.
I voted because I think this is how it's going to better my life and the people that are involved in my
my
life.
view, from my view. Right,
I don't do it because I want to hurt other people.
Exactly.
And people take it so extreme. And now it's all about protest, right? And it's not even real protest, it's rioting. It's like destroying certain things.
Right.
And I feel like that's a different mindset, and they need to change that and make it more.
And that's been a big shift.
And I'm all about protesting. I'm all about standing up for what you believe in.
Sure.
But do it in a way where you're benefiting that group or that message or something, not just to stand there and destroy cars or block traffic or do something that's just going to disrupt the day-to-day process. Make it to where it is informative and you're raising money, you're raising awareness, whatever it is, but make sure that the cause, don't forget what you're standing up for.
Right.
I feel like people then just want a reason, and then they're just like, my rights are being taken, my rights are being taken.
It's trendy.
And it's
like,
trendy, and then they post about it, and then I was like, oh, I'm going to go viral. And it's like, great.
But you're actually not doing anything actually.
You're not doing anything.
Yeah.
And you may believe in it. I don't want to take away from those people because it takes a lot of strength to stand up for what you believe in.
Absolutely.
Especially nowadays because you can be targeted for everything. Everything you believe in, you can be targeted. So people rather not stand up for what they believe. So
what do you think that is on Twitter now if you say something and people just come after you now? And so most people are saying like, well, I don't want to say anything.
How many people... I think it just negativity gets more responses than positivity.
It does.
And it sucks. It's like you know, like you post a picture or you post anything, you're gonna read that one negative person, and you might respond to that one, be like "F you" or this or why. Right. And that's what they got, and they got it. That's what they wanted.
That's what they wanted.
Otherwise, if they would have said "great picture," they would have been just another
comment. And that's like, so it goes back into our psyche of how we view ourselves and how we view the world and kind of what we want from it. It's a mind game, man. It's interesting. And it's so fake and false. And that's why we wanted to have these real conversations with people to say like, this is what, and a lot of people feel this way. But I feel like it's going to take a lot of like, how do we get to that point where people change? It's like our one-on-one interactions with each other. Yeah. How good are we to each other is what can change the mindset.
How real. Like I try to now, and I was hard on myself, being like, oh, is there certain things that I would say or I would be open to and maybe, be more emotional about it. And people are like, oh, why are you being so emotional? I even said to myself, like, why are you being emotional with these people? I'm like, you know what? I don't really care. This is me.
Right.
Like, this is how I care. This is how I love. This is how I do things, right? And if that's a problem for you, then that's on you.
That's a problem for you.
That's on you. I feel bad for you that you have to always be in a wall.
Right.
Like, you can't be open. You can't be who you really are or who you truly are.
All right, so Pavllo, now we're going to enter a round called Rapid Fire.
I'm like sweating now. Like legit.
Where we ask you a bunch of questions. Right. You have to answer them very quickly. Rapid fire.
But honestly?
Yeah, honestly.
Okay, just honestly and quickly.
Honestly and quickly.
All right.
I'm hoping that the quickly will make you be honest.
I don't know.
Deflect. Okay, here we go. I'm going to start with some easy ones.
All right.
Ready? Mm-hmm. Okay. Mac or PC?
Oh, Mac.
Excellent choice.
Yeah, for
Good
sure.
Job. Good job. So far, you're doing great. LA or New York?
Both.
Nope.
LA in the summer, New York in the winter. No, I'm kidding. LA.
LA is the way, but
I'm here, so I can't otherwise I'll be there. So
but you got a big love for New York.
I do, very much so.
Yeah, and you shot your last.
Since I'm here,
You go in LA.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Okay, city or beach?
City.
Excellent. Train or bus?
No. What?
Train or bus?
Flight.
Okay, speaking of flights, aisle seat or window seat?
Aisle.
Okay, good choice. I'm an aisle guy too. Alcohol, your favorite alcohol of choice?
Vodka.
Excellent. So you're doing very good at this. Okay, you are stranded in a Middle Eastern country and there's a gun to your head and you have to choose to let go of your passport or your cell phone. Which one are you letting go?
Cell phone.
Okay, very cool. Favorite junk food?
Pizza.
Song on your iPhone right now that you'd be embarrassed if it played right now?
I don't know.
You're like none.
I have every.
You're like none.
I don't think I would be embarrassed because I have everything from Britney to whatever you want to know. I have it.
Mine is Britney Spears' "Toxic." I've got that on my phone right now.
You got it on your phone?
Yeah,
I have all of her.
It's
stuff.
in a playlist.
Yeah.
All right,
exactly.
See, we've bonded.
We bonded.
Okay. And who's your Democratic pick for president?
I don't know. I don't know.
You got Pete. Well, I don't know if you've seen Pete. You got Corey. There's 25 people running. It's a crap ton of people.
The best candidate ever.
I'll take that. Well, guys, it's been awesome hanging out with Pavllo. Please check us out. We're Uncreative Radio, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you, bud.